A very good evening, dear students. Today, we are going to discuss about one more topic, that is legislative, executive, and judicial control over administration or over public administration. So, as we have discussed in our previous class about various regulatory committees or let's say commissions that were established in our country, because we know that ours is a democracy. In democracy, ultimate power lies in the people. But generally, people, they don't directly do, but through their legislators, they control the administration, or otherwise administrators are public servants. So in yesterday's class, as we have learned, like in our country, various regulatory bodies were controlling or supervising and guiding different sectors of our nation. Now today we are going to discuss about how our legislature, which is the most important organ of the government. As you all know that we have three organs in the government: legislature, executive, and judiciary. So these three, how they are controlling the public services or the public servants who are the real or the permanent executive of our country. Because in the first thing itself, I have showed you one let me see that again. The first one, that is about, the first one there I have given you. Power is corrupt. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. This is one of the saying, I would say, one of the statement given by one of the political scientists. It's absolutely right. So when we have given, because in democracy, though people, government we say, directly people are not doing anything because it's not a direct democracy. So therefore, people through various controlling forces with the people of this nation, in India especially, we are talking about Indian administration. No? So in India, we are talking about these things. They were controlling the administration, especially through their representatives. So the representatives are nothing but the legislature. So how the legislature, controlling the executive, I'm going to talk to you. Before that, first of all, I wanted to let you know that why control is needed. What is the necessity of control over the administration? That we're supposed to know. So we have a social thinker, or our public administration thinker, who has written the first book of public administration, Introduction to Public Administration, that is L.D. White. He says that power in a democratic society requires control. And the greater the power, the more need for control. And especially in democracy, the administrators enjoy power. So this power has to be controlled. The authorities has to be controlled. Otherwise, there is a chance, because in the second point you see, control over administration facilitates corrective against the despotic exercise of power by the public servants. If there is no control by the people or by institutions, the public services or public servants may behave as a despotic way, or in the sense a dictatorial way. Authority is misused. So that's why control is very, very important. How much power you have given, that much control also required. That's what the LDY says. And also control is necessary to check the danger of bureaucratic power, because the bureaucrats are a highly elite group. So they have a lot of technical knowledge and more wise when compared to the political executive. So, in order to check this allied group in the society, we have to be very vigilant, and there should be some controlling authorities over them. And administrative control is an instrument for the people to enjoy their rights and liberties. So, after all, democracy is the one which provides freedom, I would say, rights and liberties to the people. So if you are not checking there is no administrative control over the bureaucrats, there is a threat. There definitely will be a threat for the rights of the people. That's why it means they may abuse their power. They, they cannot, they don't safeguard the rights of the people for their things and all. That's why correction, or let's say control, is so important in any nation. And in our country, let us see what are the controlling mechanisms, or what are the controlling, especially as I told you in the beginning, that is about the organs of the government, legislature, executive, and judiciary, how they are controlling each, like let's say, in their own perspective, in their own way. I'm going to talk to you. Let us take up first the legislature, which is a very, very important organ of the government, and where, here also I wanted to quote one of our public administrator, his name Willoughby, and he says that legislature exercises general power, direction, supervision, and control of over public administration. So legislature is existing because on behalf of the people, being the representatives of the people. In the second slide, we can see that. So methods of legislative control in the administration. So that we are going to discuss. What are the methods our legislature is following, being the most powerful organ of the country, or organ to protect the people's rights and duty, maybe mainly rights and privileges. So let us see what are the methods are given to us in our parliamentary system. As you all know that ours is a parliamentary form of government. So in parliamentary system, through our procedures, in the parliament procedures, we have various procedures. So through those procedures only, or we call it as inbuilt procedures. So already when we got our, during British time, as most of us know that parliamentary system, first of all, started by British government or Britishers in their Britain. They have started the same system. They implemented here, and we are continuing with this because we liked it. There were no many problems with this parliamentary system. So even after our independence, we are moving on or moving ahead with the parliamentary form of government, which is very responsible form of government, because that's so important, no, for us. So therefore, parliamentary in the parliamentary system, we have various methods. So first of all, these methods, when we are using and all, I just want to tell you, which is not mentioned in the PPT, but as we all know that all our representatives will have a parliamentary sessions, or we'll call them as parliamentary meetings. Three times they will have their parliamentary meeting in a year. We call them as winter session, rainy session, and summer session, or budgetary sessions. We call three types of sessions we have. So in those sessions mainly, what are the methods they follow in order to control the administration? Let us see. The very first one is question hour. Question hour is one of the technique, or one of the important tool in the hands of our legislators to control the administration. So when does we are following this question hour model? If you see in your textbook, which is provided to you, the material, you can verify also that year, that is from 1909 onwards, when Britishers were ruling itself, they have given chance for the representatives of the people to raise questions related to the matters of administration. Okay, so therefore, in our country, question hour in our parliamentary sessions have started from 1909 onwards. Okay, so according to that, in the floor, this question hour is the beginning for the sessions. In the very beginning of the parliament meeting, they will start with the question hour. And to start, generally, these question hours, any legislator can ask the question to any concerned minister, because ministers are the people who are running the administration with the help of bureaucrats. Therefore, ministers will be posed with the questions by the legislators. So, in order to ask the question, so and so minister, the representatives of the people or the legislators, they have to give 10 days prior notice. In the question hour time, if you want to ask a question, the concerned person who wanted to ask the question, to whom he's posing that question, he has to give 10 days notice, saying that this is my question, so that he will be prepared. He will be on what issue, because certain things are statistical way they may ask and all. No? So therefore, they need to show the evidences in for their question and all. No? That's why 10 days before they have to give them, so that they will prepare and come. And in our country, in India, mostly this question hour starts from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. That is the most of the time we will start like that. But sometimes it is also moving on. But this will be the first method what our legislators, in order to control the, by asking questions and by asking supplementary questions, even the to that particular question related to another supplementary questions also they can ask with the permission of the speaker or the chairperson of that thing. Say, for example, in Rajya Sabha, we call the presiding officer as the chairman. Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha chairman or a deputy chairman, chair anyhow. And this side we'll call Lok Sabha, we call it as a speaker. So they have to take the permission from the speaker or from the chairman, and they can ask even sub questions also. That is one of the thing. Supplementary questions, not sub questions. They can raise the supplementary questions, and that's how they take the control over the policies of the administrators. Okay, that is one method. And moving on to the second one is 0 hour. 0 hour discussions. We call it as 0 hour. What is this 0 hour? So as soon as question hour gets over, I told you, from 11 to 12 a.m. That's not 12 p.m. So at any time they can start. That's it. So generally, it will be in the afternoon, 12 p.m., 12 noon, we can call it as 12 noon time, because if you check your watches and all, 12 o'clock, 00, it starts with 00. That is how it has named as a 0 hour. Okay, so 0 hour, what type of questions can be asked and what is this means? 0 hour is completely Indian innovation. Means we didn't see in other countries, in other parliamentary form of governments which are followed by various countries, but only in our country that has started from 1962 onwards, 0 hour have been started. So in this hour, the members, the legislators can ask the ministers or the any minister any question related to the country only, public important issues only. Extra regular means they are not related to the agenda. Generally, for every meeting, for every business hour, there will be certain agenda will be there. No, so beyond agenda, which are not mentioned in agenda can be raised in 0 hour. So mostly you might have seen like a lot of like a chaos and lot of noise and minister and like opposition parties keep on shouting at one another. Mostly it happens during this time because whichever question they want to ask, they can ask during 0 hour. But in order to control again to the government, to the administration. Okay, that is known as 0 hour discussions. And the third method in our parliamentary sessions we have is half an hour discussions or short discussions. This is another important tool in the hands of the legislators to control administration, such as like any kind of discussions, say, which are related to any one minister or related to the government. So they may request the, let's say, chair by taking the formal, like a, let's say, permission. Then this kind of discussions can be taken up, which are related to the public important issues. Maybe the what I say, like the health issues of the people, what government is doing, so on and so place it's happening like this, like that. Any that particular time, any important things were there, such kind of important issues, the members can raise and can ask the can start the discussion with the government. These discussions can be two types. One is little what I say, that half an hour discussions or short discussions and all. Mostly in a week, three times or four times, the speaker can sanction days in order to have these kind of discussions. Okay, that is another one. Let us move on to some other 0 hour I said. And apart from these things, some of the next slide, if you see, we have budgetary control. So generally, or as you all know, that legislature considered to be the watchdog of public finance or public money. Okay, money what the government has collected from the people, that in the form of taxes, in the form of various these things, registrations and all, no, that amount, how they are controlling, because the legislature controls the administrators in three ways. One is policy formulation, how it is made. Can I have next slide? Then next slide. Yeah, different resolution. So one is, as I told you, policy formulation, how they formulated the policy, then policy implementation, and the third one is that finances, how they are spending the public finance has to be controlled by the legislature. The administration will be controlled. Okay, so in that process, this is a budgetary control. So you all know that the finance minister prepares the expenditure and like let's say revenue of the government, and the same thing has to present before the legislature. So there will be discussions upon the budget which has prepared by the government. This year we are going to collect this much of taxes from the people, and we are going to allot money for various sectors like this, like that. They will show the budget, no. Based on that budget statement, the legislators will raise the questions and they will ask the government why you are like allotted this much amount for so on and so. Let it be the internal safety, or what say defense, how much you are spending, or this much, why you have spent very less on the education or this thing, like whatever they feel, no. If there is no balance in the distribution of money allocation and all, they will question the government, and only after they pass the budget, then it can be implemented, that it can be taken by the administrators to spend it and all. Okay, that is one thing. And another one is that control through audit. So this is also very, very important one. So, okay, once the government, the legislature, like what say, have sanctioned the budget, then how this money has been spent by each department, each ministry, again at the end of the year, Comptroller and Auditor General will be there. We have an independent body that is. So they'll explain, they will prepare one report, annual report about the accounts and income and expenditure of the government, different departments. And that report, first they will submit to the president, then it will come to the legislature. So the legislators will discuss about it. If any mismanagement has taken place, if unnecessary expenditures are taken place by any department or any ministry, then they will question the administrators. That's why the administration is very, very careful in spending the public money. That is another way of controlling the thing. And besides these major things, we have some other resolutions. Actually, we call it as a motion, controlling through motions. Down we have another point. So various resolutions the legislature introduced in parliament in order to control the administration of our country, or the public servants of this nation, or the ministers of this country. Because ultimately ministers are ruling with the help of bureaucrats. Therefore, both of them will be controlled by legislature by various motions. What are they? Let me mention certain some important resolutions generally legislature introduced in the parliament. That is, the first one is that the call attention motion. This is one of the resolution. Let me use the word attention, like would say, instead of a motion, let me use it as a resolution. Call attention resolution. That is nothing but like asking the at any time, when during the time of parliamentary meetings, the legislators, with the permission of the speaker, they will ask any one particular minister to speak about its department policies, because they are not for the public well-being, or maybe they're anti-public. If they feel, they will ask them, they will call the attention of that particular minister, and they will ask why so on and so policy is being implementing. So why don't you explain us, like that they will introduce, so that every minister will be very alert when they were taking the policies. Simply they cannot take policies, because there are some people who ask them, who will take the accountability from them. Then another one is that no confidence motion. Yes, some of you know about this. No confidence motion is nothing but in order to control the entire government. So sometimes when legislators feels that the government is acting in an inefficient way, or they lost the confidence of the people, and during that time, this no confidence motion will be introduced by the opposition party against the government. So if in case in the voting of no confidence motion, if opposition party got more votes, or in the sense the no confidence motion has been passed, then the whole government has to resign. So that's why the government will be very, very careful in their activities, in their functioning. So they try to work in an efficient way and try to have confidence of the parliament. Okay, so that is another thing. And likewise, we have adjournment motion, or otherwise adjournment resolution. So in this resolution also, certain urgent important or means certain unexpected things happens. So suddenly that for that particular day, the members can introduce this resolution. Okay, instead of discussing about pre-planned agenda. So for that particular day, they will adjourn, means they will move aside of that particular days to the next day or like that. And for that particular day, the incident they will take. Say, for example, because our Indian Parliament has a right to discuss about even the internal issues, international issues, not only national, local issues, even international issues. Suddenly, we have seen from 24th onwards here in the world, like Ukraine and Russia, this war is going on. So what? Because we are also neighboring, we are in the Asia, and Russia is an Asia, and like Ukraine, yes, we have seen yesterday, like how the government is reacting for the students and other people who are in that country, particular country where war is going on. So, in such kind of issues, if in case parliament meetings are going on, any parliament member can introduce this adjournment motion and can ask the government to explain what kind of precautions, what they are going to do during these war situations in our neighboring nations. So such kind of resolutions are introduced. So then the concerned ministers or the prime minister, they have to tell them, like, this is what we are planning, what is our stand in that war, and how we are going to protect our own people who are living in that country. So how to evacuate them. These things will be, will come to the discussion during this type of adjournment motions, means which is a very urgent thing. So because pre-plannedly, we will have some, agenda. But unexpectedly, this happened, no? So in such kind of issues. And so also inside the country, if any accidents, any kind of unexpected thing happened, so for that day, the resolutions which are there for that particular day will be kept aside, and adjournment motion will be introduced to discuss the urgent public important issues on the floor of the parliament. Okay, so these are the main things. And finally, we have various committees in our parliament. Parliamentarians have been divided into various committees in order to verify the functioning of the government, such as like a public accounts committee, estimates committee, okay, public undertakings committee. These committees keep on verify, control the functioning of the government. Okay, so this is the how the legislature controls the administration. Hope you understood this one. Let us move on to the next one. Next slide is about executive control. Okay, so one side we discussed about how legislature controlling the public servants. Now it is the executive. How executive controlling the public servants or the administrators we are going to see. So executive control is a continuous control over the administrators, because here executive in the sense cabinet or what council of ministry, prime minister and council of ministry is known as the executive body. Of course, even president of India also part of executive body. President of India is part of legislature, executive as well as judicial. Okay, so here if we take in a narrow way, that here the executive means political executive. The political executive, prime minister and the ministers, how they are controlling the administrators, means the bureaucrats, means the public servants. So how the public servants like secretary, like personal secretaries, heads of various blocks and wings, departments, how they were controlling, let us see. So they control through policy making. So, the government prepares its policies with the help of bureaucrats. So, while they were making the policies, these ministers will be behind them and telling them, make policies in a right way. If you make policies in an unbalanced way and all, again, it is an anti-public, it will be. Therefore, people won't accept it. And even the opposition party will be taking, let's say, charge, or they will criticize us. Therefore, be careful. Like that, all the time, the ministers guides and supervises the bureaucrats while they are making the policies which are going to be handed over to them, to the ministers only. Okay, so that is one thing. Continuous guidance and continuous supervision by the ministers over the what we call it as bureaucrats is while making policy making is one way of control. And the second one is that political direction. So in the politicians, because as just now, of course, I also mentioned in there only, political direction in they have their own political this thing. No? So ministers always help, tells their subordinate officers and all, so to control themselves and how to make the policies and all, they will tell. I mean, so first and second almost same only. Then control to issue of ordinances. See, as most of you know that during the absence of parliament or legislature, if country need any laws for the administration's sake, those laws will be made by the executive body. So those laws are known as ordinances. Means they are not accepted, they are not approved by the legislature. So just to meet the emergency situations, urgent situations, certain laws will be made by the ministers, or ministers in the sense in the running administration, the administrators make the policies or ordinances. So while making the ordinances also, the chief executive and the ministers will be very careful with the bureaucrats, because in case if they do any kind of mistake in the ordinances and all, afterwards when it comes for the approval of legislature, if legislature do not accept that, that also leads to the failure, or let's say collapse of the government. The government will be collapsed. So not just the public bill, it is almost like a public bill. So the failure of public bills, when no confidence motion is passed, the government will be dismissed. So therefore, they'll be very, very careful while making the ordinances time also. The government controls the executive or the bureaucrats. Control through, this is an internal one, that is control through recruitment, transfers and removal of the officials. So as I told you, just because there is power in the hands of the administrators, they cannot misuse the power, because there are various methods to control the administrators by ministers or by the by our system. That is, we have various recruitment policies are there. They should not violate those policies. If they are not working properly, they will be transferred from one ministry to another ministry, or important ministry to unimportant ministry, or sometimes some bureaucrats will be removed from their official duties because of their mistakes or misuse of powers and all. So by utilizing these things, the ministers keep on controls the executive body, that is the permanent executive body, or we can call them as the public servants. So the public servants keep on controlled by the ministers by these four methods. Okay, then moving on to the next one. Next one is the judicial control. Okay, till now we have discussed about two methods or two ways how the public servants are controlled not to misuse their powers. Now we have another important organ of the government, that is about judiciary. Judiciary means, as we all know, that it is the next slide. It is in the next slide. Judicial control. Judicial control, we'll see. Yeah. Yes, that is the slide. You can check there. Yeah. So, in modern democracy, as we all know, the sanctity means what type of value we have for the judiciary. The supremacy of the law, that is the constitution, is protected by the judiciary. Judiciary plays a very, very important role in making or safeguarding the rights of the people. The right, preventing, not only protecting the rights of the people, it prevents excess authority of the officials. What authority is given to them, that much only they have to utilize. If they use more than that, then judiciary is there to put brakes to them. Okay, so that's why the most important organ today for us in democracy is judiciary. So let us see how judiciary is controlling the executive, the administrators or the public servants, not to misuse, not to have nepotism, not to have red tapeism. These kind of things will be taken care by the judiciary. Let me talk to you. The first one, what is that? Is the judicial remedies under rule of law. The very first one is judicial remedies under rule of law. Under this, what it do? So, as you all know that in Indian Constitution, Article 14 says that all are equal before law. That we call it as a rule of law. So, all are equal before law means from the President of India to the least person in the country. Everyone, high level to low level person in the country, all are equal for our country, for our law. Okay, so actually here I have given Professor Dacey name. He is the one, he is a British jurist. He has proposed this concept called rule of law. All are equal before law. J.C. Dacey, his name, Professor Dacey. Okay, he is a jurist actually. Later he became a jurist and of course taught law in his in his country. So according to this, all are equal. So in case the administrators purposely deviating anything for some other, in order to protect someone, in order to save somebody's thing and all, at that time, judiciary is there in order to correct them. Okay, say, let us see, for example, in many countries as a part of development, ORRs and what we call it as high flyovers, these kind of constructions are going on. So mostly ORR. Like around the city, we have these expressways are laid down in order to prevent the traffic and all. So during the time of ORR constructions and all, so many people's lands, agricultural lands have been taken by the government for the public use. Okay, so sometimes what happens, some of the administrators, just to protect their own people or their own people or who are in the power or who are in important positions, to protect their properties, they may deviate the plan. They may deviate the plans. Instead of going in such a round way, they may take a little deviation just to protect that property, not to come into this side. Okay, in such kind of things, actually, we are talking about this. All are equal. When you are taking, take it in a right way. So just because of somebody's sake, you cannot deviate the plan, isn't it? So all the citizens are equal. Private citizens or these things will not be officials are not treated in a different way. They have to be treated equally. In case administration do like that, judiciary will hold on them or catch hold of them. Then the second one is that suits against the government and the officials. So cases, suit means they can sort of file a case against the uh, government or officials for damaging somebody's, for me, is damaging somebody's, maybe what I say, um, their character or what say their asserts or whatever it is, if they are purposely they have done anything, that particular person who has been affected can go to court against the government or against the officials. So we might have heard about they got the stay order. No, so at that time, judiciary sent an order saying that they will issue the stay order. Means stop, don't go ahead. We wanted to verify it because so and so person has filed a case against you because you are a little partial towards him and he is getting affected with you because of your action, of your administrative action. Like that, any person in the country, if they are not happy with the government plan or the government, official policies and all, they can go to the court and court will protect them from the arbitrary nature of the government plans and government policies and government orders. Okay, that's one thing. Then moving on to another important is judicial review. This is the most important one, judicial review. Actually, this is one of the special power exercised by Supreme Court and High Court. At the center Supreme Court and at the state levels, state level, high courts will enjoy this power or exercise this power. What is this power all about? Means it has judiciary or Supreme Court or High Court has a power to cancel the laws of the government or the executive orders of the executive to say these cannot be implemented. Means they will cancel it. Why they will cancel it? If they are against the spirit of constitution. In our constitution, certain things were given. Okay, so if the government or if the public servant did not follow those constitutional issues and simply against the constitutional law, if they made any policy, then the judiciary can interfere and can cancel the laws of the parliament or the laws of actions of the act of the executive or the public servants. This is most important. Actually, this power we have adopted from American Constitution. So in America, this law is there. This power is there for their courts. So the same power here also in our India we have. That's why so many times our courts, they send orders to the government. No, you have to wait upon it. Don't do this. Like that, they are stopping the government when they are against the spirit of constitution. We can call it as ultra vires. Ultra vires. Okay, that is one of the thing. And administrative tribunals. I forgot to tell you one more important thing. We have administrative tribunals also. In the previous slide only, we have that last one, fourth one. I think you can go back to the next previous slide. That is administrative tribunals in our country are also another important instrument to control the administrators. These administrative tribunals were started in our country from 1985 onwards. Why these administrative tribunals have been established means, previous slide once. For previous slide, yes. The last one, fourth one, if you see students, that is administrative tribunals. These were established in the year 1985 under Article 323. So these tribunals were established in order to settle the recruitment procedures and the service issues of the public servants. Okay. See, already judiciary is filled with lots of cases and all. They don't have like a time to study about the issues or conflicts of the employees. So therefore, if employees had any problem, that will be discussed in the administrative tribunals. So here, the like I say, senior most officers will take the decisions as per the recruitment procedures only, that so on and so person appointed or not, because some employees may go to court asking like my junior appointment is not correct, or my junior has been given more like let's say pay scale, or like that. If they have any any kind of issues, they need not to go to court. They have to go to administrative tribunals. Okay. So in the central government, we have administrative tribunal, which we call it as a CAT. Central Administrative. C stands for Central, A stands for administrative, T stand for tribunal. CAT we call it as. Here I forgot to mention it. So CAT is one of the administrative tribunal in order to control the misuse of like let's say powers by the higher authorities to transfer, or let's say transfer or recruit as they like, or giving promotions as they like. They cannot misuse the powers. That's why administrative tribunals are working. Yes, then let us move on to the next one, is that about the writs we will see. Yeah, this is about the writs. So writ is nothing but a special order of the courts. So all the, especially High Court and Supreme Court, they have this power to issue the writs. The first writ is known as habeas corpus. Habeas corpus, literally it means produce the body of detained person before the court. That's the meaning. So generally, this kind of what I say that writ is issued to the police, because generally police arrest the people. No, so when a person is arrested, I think you know very well. With the help of authority, in the name of power, the police cannot arrest everybody and everyone, anyone as they like. No, just for they have a doubt, they cannot arrest and put him behind the bar. Okay, that's why sometimes if any person is arrested, then they sent an order to the police people to produce the person before the court. So maybe we can call it as a bail or such kind of thing. So they go to the one judiciary means there is a lawyer, go to the police and give him one order saying that you just leave him. We will produce before the court so that he can explain his case or his innocence. Give him chance to express his innocence, and so that the police authority unnecessarily or they cannot use the power on the innocent people and all. Okay, that is one sort of, in order to protect the rights and the privileges or the liberty of the common people or the ordinary people, court issue orders to the administrators, people in the law and order issues who looks after those officers will be controlled by this order. Then the next one is mandamus. Mandamus means command. So these are all Latin words. Command means a public official do not do what is not given to him. So sometimes some people beyond their power, they work. It means official duty. What is official duty? They don't do. which is not given to them, they will do. In such kind of cases, a citizen can go to the court, and then court will issue the command to the public servant saying that you be in your limits. Means what is given to you, you do it. And what is not given to you, please don't do it. In such a way, they send the order in order to protect the people from the excessive power of the or unnecessarily utilizing the power by the public servants. Then the third one is prohibition. Sorry, prohibition is also a judiciary writ issued by superior courts, means high courts. These superior courts to the inferior courts, to the lower courts, they issue preventing them not to do certain, like what say, unnecessary issues involving into giving more punishments which are given to them only. See, because as per our penal code, there are certain things were given. So what is given to them, that only they have to exercise. More than that, and the lower courts has no authority to do. So in such cases, when a person go to the higher courts, then in order to protect him, the higher courts will send to the lower courts this prohibition orders. Then another one is called injunction. Injunction is also given to the public officers by the court not to do things which are not given to them for the officers and all. And certiorari means certify, or generally this is related to again to the courts only, by the higher courts given to the lower courts to transform the case from your court to upper court, like that. Because the client may ask like, I'm not happy with this court, I don't feel that I'm going to get justice here. At that time, the higher court can order the lower court, you transform this case to another court. Like that, they send a command that is known as certiorari. And co-warrant. Co-warrant means generally we all call it as warrant. With such warrant, like that we call, no? So warrant is the authority issued by the court to inquire legal claim. See, so on and so person has corruption and all, public servant has. Then the higher authorities will get the warrant certificate then from the court, and then they'll go in order to inquire like a public servant. So before you search, before you have any kind of inquiry, you need to have a warrant. So that will be given by the court. So these are all some of the restrictions, or what we say, controlling methods by judiciary to prevent excessive power, excessive authority exercised by the public servants. Okay, then come to the limitations. Okay, all these three organs what we have discussed, they are exercising these kind of powers. Literally means we have to say judiciary is good, judiciary is performing. Okay, but when it comes to the executive and especially legislature, maybe they are not up to the mark, because one of the reason is, what are the limitations on the administrative control for the legislature is that administrators are very wise, technically they are advanced, knowledgeable persons, whereas most of the legislators, because last class also we discussed that there is no rule that all the legislators had to have a technical knowledge or a academic knowledge and all. Any person after completing the age of 25 or 30 or 35, they can contest for various posts in our country. So like that they become, so some of them, they don't have technical knowledge. So whatever these administrators are doing, they may not question them. That is one problem. And another thing today, these days, why administration is not controlled properly by the ministers or by the politicians or by like let's say legislators, means because most of the public servants, they too will have a political alliance, political connections. So that is the reason why, even if they follow some illegal ways or corrupt ways and all, maybe they criticize, but the proper actions are not taking place because of political support to the administrators or public servants. And today, as you all know, that every country and even our India also, we are following goal-oriented model of administration. That is, new public management system we are following. In the new public management system, we give importance to goals and let's say visions and all. And in that way, we are also following PP model, that is public-private partnership model also. So here also there are certain issues where we're unable to control the administrative access powers, or what say their like I don't say corruption, but their authorities sometimes even they are going beyond their capacity and all. Also, governments and what say legislature is unable to control them because of the model that we are following today. Okay, so but whatever it is, as I told you, know, despite of all these, in spite of all these limitations, but we have judicial control over indispensably hinder the public officials from misuse of authority. They are protecting. They, with the help of judiciary, the misuse of authority is being protecting. That's how democracy continuing successfully in our country. So with this, today's class about like we say introduction of our legislature and executive judicial control over administrators, public servants, we come to know through various methods how they are being controlling by the officers are controlled by the legislators, we come to know. So this is all about our class today. Thank you so much for joining.